Mama, you have 4 hot sauce.
All right.
And innately inferior. In the final analysis, racism is evil because its ultimate logic is genocide. Hitler was a sick and tragic man. Racism to its logical conclusion. Ended up leading a nation to the point of killing.
Before the thing.
This is the tragedy of racism because its ultimate logic is genocide. One says that I am not good enough to live next door to him. One says that I am not good enough to eat at a lunch counter, or to have a good, decent job, or to go to school with him, merely because of my race. He is saying consciously or unconsciously that I do not deserve to exist. To use a philosophical analogy here, racism is not based on some empirical generalization, it's based rather on an ontological affirmation. It is not the assertion that certain people are behind culturally or otherwise because of environmental conditions.
Give me a little bit. I don't want a lot.
Being.
So finish your water so she has something for it.
This is the great tragedy of it. I say.
So, Mima,
That's it.
she said before.
Yeah, Caleb.
Put your Kayla. Baby. You go.
And she said
Me to say something about another discussion that we hear a great deal.
Thank you.
The so-called white backlash.
What you talking about?
They say to you that the white backlash is
Let him here.
on
A speech by Dr. King. Mm-hmm.
came into being because shouts of black power, or because Negroes engaged in riots in Watts, for instance. The fact is that the state of California voted a fair housing bill out of existence before anybody shouted black power, or before anybody rioted in Watts. It may well be that shouts of black power and riots in Watts and the Harlems and the other areas are the consequences of the white backlash rather than the cause of it. What it is necessary to see is that there has never been a single solid monistic determination from Europe. But it has not evinced the same kind of maternal sorrow songs a Negro could sing out. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. What great estrangement, what great sense of rejection caused the people to emerge with such a metaphor as they looked over their lives. What I'm trying to get across is that our nation has constantly taken a positive step forward on the question of racial justice and racial equality. But over and over again, at the same time, it made certain backward steps. And this has been the persistent
Yeah.
Just want to thank everybody for coming in today. The reason why we're getting started a little bit late is because can everybody hear me okay? Can you give me a thumbs up if you can hear me okay? All right. Thank you for coming to this forum. I know it was at the last minute. I know it was, but it is an urgent issue for our community. And we need to take action on this, soon. And pardon me, because I'm still letting people into the waiting room. People still are waiting on the room. But the reason for the delay was because Precious Tross is having some technical difficulties. So I'm not sure she's going to be on. She said she's going to try to grab her laptop real quick. But just to let everyone know, she did call me. She didn't stand us up this evening, and she is working hard to get access to either the iPhone or with the laptop. Before we start, I just want to lay out some ground. Can you please mute your mics, guys? Make sure everyone mutes their mics, please. My name is Mike Johnson. Before we start, my name is Mike Johnson. I am with Save Rochester Incorporated. I am the founder and executive director. We have grown astronomically since our inception, and we're glad to be able to provide this platform this evening. I want us to lay out some ground rules, okay, so that we are all on the same page when it comes to what type of forum this is supposed to be. What type of town hall. It's okay to disagree. You're entitled to your opinion. Let's make that clear. You know what I mean? We want everybody to keep it real, keep it 100. But I gotta let you know, no profanity, please. No profanity, no cursing. All right, because people tend to get hostile with that type of language. No personal attacks. All right. Okay. It's okay to have your own reservations, but no calling people names. That is out. If you do that, you will be kicked out. Assume the best. Okay. Assume that everybody is here to get more information. Okay. That everybody's here to learn more. And if these allegations, and we know them to be true, I'm sorry, that was a little biased, but if these allegations are founded true, then know that he needs to be removed immediately. Okay, so I think we need to assume that everybody is under that pretense, but I could be wrong. Share the space. Okay, share the space. I know it's late. Okay, it's a Monday night, so let's share the space. Okay, and remember, we're here for more information, like Dr. King was talking about in the broadcast. I don't know if you all heard that. There are two Americas. Okay, there were two Americas when Dr. King was alive, and there are still two Americas. And I'm willing to bet, that if any of these suburban kids' parents complained in the way that these parents have spoken out, that's something they would have acted very urgently to contact those parents. Right before we begin, I want to do focal points, go through some focal points really quickly, because I know with this sensitive subject, everybody's going to be going all over the place, because this is really a complicated issue in many regards. So I want to go over very quickly with you, okay, some things that we can focus on, okay, in this conversation, so I can bring us back when I feel like we're getting sidetracked. I can bring us back to those focal points. So let me just share those really quickly with you. There's only 6. Okay. Here we go. Can everybody see that? 6 focal points? Can you give me a thumbs up if you can see that? Okay, thank you. So let's remember, Mr. Rausch has a history of teaching lessons perceived as offensive to his students, okay? This is what I want to lay out very clearly for everybody. He has had a history of doing this, and if you get that negative reaction and keep doing it, there's something wrong there. Handcuffs are dangerous, and no child should ever be handcuffed in school, point blank, period, ever, okay? Picking seeds from cotton is not a part of the school's curriculum. Nowhere in the curriculum does the lesson plan call for students picking seeds out of cotton, okay? Students should be allowed to opt out of potentially offensive lessons. So if the child is telling you, I don't want to do it, then it should be illegal. It should be illegal. It is wrong for you to force that child to, or coerce that child by threatening to suspend them or to have them expelled. Mr. Rausch, his lessons have absolutely nothing to do with critical race theory. And I've seen the enemy doing a lot of confusion around trying to say that this is because liberals have let critical race theory come into the classroom. It's the complete opposite. Okay, this guy is not a liberal by any means if you're bringing in cotton and handcuffs. Lastly, Mr. Rausch is unfit to teach as demonstrated by his word choice with students, such as saying, I'm Massah. How are you going to tell a room full of Black students, I'm Massah? That is unacceptable. And then he said to another student who is autistic, is on the spectrum of autism, he told him stop acting retarded. That is unacceptable and inexcusable. So I want us to stick to these 6 points if we can, okay, during the course of this town hall. And in the next steps, we'll be collecting names and phone numbers tonight. We need more referrals for legal counsel, and we need everyone to share and sign our petition to remove Patrick Rausch immediately, okay? So I am going to shut up. I'm going to let Ms. Ramos tell us exactly what happened. Once she tells us her version of the events, we are then going to open it up to questions. Okay, the only thing I'm going to be doing from now on is moderating. So at this point, without further ado, Ms. Velma Ramos O'Neill, welcome. Thank you for being here. I commend you for your courage and your bravery in speaking out. And I know the backlash that you've suffered, and I want to apologize to you, on behalf of the Rochester community, because that's not what we're supposed to be about. Okay, so without further ado, Ms. Ramos.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, for joining. And Mike, thank you so very much for your support. You've reached out to us immediately. As soon as you were made alert of the situation. So I definitely appreciate each and every act of kindness and support that you have provided us. I initially, when my son came home from school, he shared that his teacher was sharing cotton amongst the rest of the students, and he asked them to pick seeds out of it. Anybody who knows my son knows that he's a prankster, and sometimes he says things to get out of, being in trouble for something else or whatever. And so I just kind of dismissed it. I didn't believe it. It wasn't until I saw another post that was shared by the other mom, Mrs. Strauss, that I realized that it was true. So I went back to him and I discussed with him what happened and how, I commended him for having tried, and I apologized for not believing him. And I commended him for coming to me and letting me know that this was, something that he didn't feel right about. And I explained to him why this was so very disrespectful and offensive. When I did that, that's when he said, oh, and he also placed handcuffs on me, and another time he brought shackles. So he said that I said, well, did he ever put anything on you? He said he put the handcuffs on him, and he told him that it was a magic trick, and he asked him to try to wiggle himself out of the cuffs. When he couldn't do it, the teacher then, Mr. Rausch, then told him, it's okay, kid. Your ancestors couldn't do it either. He then put the cuffs on himself and let himself out of the cuffs with his own key, with the key that he had. And he, showed them like, ha, I could do it. To me, when my son shared that with me, it just, I just felt like the message that he was trying to project at that point was of white power, of I'm able to do something and you're not. And I just felt highly, highly offended. And I felt extremely hurt for my son. And that's when I made the post. And I reached out to Ms. Tross and let her know that my daughter also, that my son also shared similar accounts as to what her daughter was stating. And I asked her to follow up with her child to see if she knew anything about any handcuffs. And when she asked her daughter said that the teacher told her also that it was a magic trick that he was going to perform. And he asked her to put them on as well. So since then, I made the post, my post was shared, Precious' post was shared, it got attention of the media. And the media just pretty much all have reached out and they've been trying to get the story, and it's now a nationwide issue. So that's where we're at today. My understanding is that this teacher does have a history of this. I spoke to a person who is now 22 years old, and she mentioned that she was a student at 58 school and that he engaged in the same activity with their class. And let the dog out. He engaged in the same activity as, as this one. And she said that at that time, the students got upset and they threw the cotton at him. So my question is, well, first of all, this just states that this is something that, this is his method of operation. This is something that he continuously, does. He's been, from my understanding, he's been at a couple of our city schools, and it just seems as though he's just being shifted from place to place. Whenever he gets in a situation in one school, he gets shifted all over to another site. And, all we're doing is inheriting somebody else's problems when they should have addressed this at the very first time that they had to address any issues of racism with him. I believe it was told to me that when he left 58 school, it was because he struck a child. I don't know that to be certain, so I can't state that, but that is what I heard. So I'm just stating that with all of these allegations that have come before my son and Precious' daughter's reports, that something has to be done. Because all that's going to happen is that they're going to continue to slap him on the wrist, tell him you can't do that, and then move on to another school. So what we're requesting as the parents, we're requesting that he be terminated from SOTA and that his license be revoked so that he's not able to teach in any other school where he's going to continue to inflict this type of trauma on other children. So I'm here today on behalf of my child, on behalf of Precious' child, and any other child that came before him and presently that have endured his just negligent, willful, disrespectful activities. So that's where I'm at today.
Thank you for that, Ms. Ramos O'Neill. I've noticed that Ms. Tross has entered the chat. So as promised, we are going to Peaceful Warriors. I do see your hand. I think I see your hand, Peaceful Warriors. We're going to wait until Ms. Tross explains her version of events and how she came to find out that her daughter had experienced this treatment in classroom at School of the Arts. Sorry. we should have been very clear about that. That this happened at the School of the Arts on 45 Prince Street, okay, which is a Rochester City school, okay, and it was a 7th grade social studies classroom. 7th grade social studies classroom at the School of the Arts, also known as SOTA. So without further ado, we're going to go to Miss Tross so that she can explain how she came to find out about her daughter in this treatment.
Okay, can you guys hear me? Okay, so how I came about finding out about the cotton in the seeds was Tuesday evening around 4 p.m. last week. My daughter called me to come pick her up from school because she missed her bus. So I went and picked her up from School of the Arts, and I was on my way to drop her off at the Boys and Girls Club. As I'm on my way to drop my daughter, Janasia Brown, off to the Boys and Girls Club, who is a 7th grader at School of the Arts in Patrick Rausch classroom of social studies. So my daughter says, "Mom," and her eyebrows went like this. She said, "Mom, let me show you what the social studies teacher made us do today in social studies." So I said, "Okay, Janae." So she pulls out a piece of cotton. So when she pulls out the cotton, she said, "He made us pick seeds out of this cotton." So I double looked at my child, and when I looked back in front of me, I almost crashed into a car.
Precious.
Daughter is showing me a piece of cotton, telling me that her teacher made her pick seeds out of cotton. So I asked my daughter, I said, "Janasia, what color is he?" She said, "He's white, Mom." So I said, "Okay." Yes. And she says, "Yes." Said, "But the Caucasian kid gonna say to the teacher, we're not going to pick we're not about to pick no seeds out of no cotton. That's not our job." So he tells them, "Okay, get on your Chromebooks. You guys can get on your Chromebooks." So he allowed for them to throw out their cotton and get on their Chromebook. So my daughter also says, "I get up to go throw my cotton away because I don't want to pick no seeds." And he tells me I have to sit down and finish picking the seeds out of my cotton. So I look at my daughter in the car and I said, "Are you kidding me, Janasia? He really said these things to you?" He said, "Yes." I said, "He really made y'all pick seeds out of cotton?" Excuse me. And she said, "Yes, Mom." I said, "Oh no, that is totally unacceptable. It is strongly wrong." So I let my child go into the Boys and Girls Club. I stayed parked in the Boys and Girls Club parking lot before I proceeded on going back to work. And at that moment, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do, but I was furious. I was angry. I was upset that he made my daughter pick seeds out of the cotton. I also asked her, did she tell him that she didn't want to pick seeds out of the cotton? She said yes. She told him she didn't want to do that, but she was forced to do so. So at that moment, while I'm sitting in the Boys and Girls Club parking lot in Park, I didn't know what to do. There were so many things going through my mind. Till something said, "You know what? Post this, take a picture of this cotton and post it on Facebook," because I didn't know who to run to. So that's exactly what I did. So once I took a picture of that cotton and I wrote my status on Facebook above my cotton, I posted it. And once I posted it, everyone started hitting me up in my inbox, replying back to the status and everything. That same particular day, Ms. Velma Ramos, she inboxed me and told me that her son also came home the very same day, last Tuesday, and told her the same thing, how he was forced to pick seeds out of cotton. And at the moment, she didn't believe him for the moment until she seen my post. And once she seen my post, that's what made her inbox me because our kids told the same similar stories. Now, mind you, my daughter has second period class with Patrick Rausch, and Valma Ramos' son, Jamir Ramos, has third period with Patrick Rausch, social studies, 7th grade, both of them. Me and Ms. Ramos did not know each other until this incident. We do not live with each other. We do not live by each other. So for her son to come home and tell her the same story, my daughter got in the car and told me, now you know that is everything true of what they're saying. This man been doing this for a very long time. And I am highly upset about it. Wednesday, we had an interview with Channel 8 News. In the process of that interview, both of our children, Ms. Velma Ramos and my daughter, her son and my daughter both at the same time said how he will always say racist things as well. But before Wednesday, Tuesday night, Ms. Ramos inboxed me and told me to ask my daughter, do I know anything about handcuffs and shackles? When I read that, I couldn't believe it. I texted her back and said, are you serious? Shackles and handcuffs? She said, yes. She said, because Jamir just told me all about it. So ask your daughter, do she know anything about it? So I told her I will ask her in the morning. Wednesday morning, I woke my daughter up for school. She didn't even want to go to school. She didn't want to go to school because she figured that Patrick Rausch would be there. So I did not force my daughter to go to school at all Wednesday. But I did also ask her, I said, Janasia, do you know anything about handcuffs and shackles that Mr. Patrick Rausch brought to the classroom? She looked down to the floor and she said, yes, Mom. And I said, tell me about the story. So the whole time my daughter is standing in my room telling me about this story, how he brought in handcuffs in October and shackles. He didn't put shackles on her ankles, but she told him that she didn't want to try on no handcuffs. She didn't want to try him on at all. So he made her come in front of the classroom and he told her to hold her hand out. And he told her if she don't try on the handcuffs, he's going to send her to the principal's office and the counselor's office. So my daughter proceeded to hold her hands out while that man, Patrick Rausch, put those handcuffs on my child. And when he put those handcuffs on my child, my daughter told me she was crying. Excuse me, guys. This is very touchy for me. So when he put those on my daughter,
take your time, take your time.
My daughter said that she started crying. She said she started bawling in tears. Tissue, please. And she told him, and he looked at her and said, why are you crying? You supposed to be a big girl. Now that right there, that got me furious, even more angrier than what I already was with the seeds and the cotton. Excuse me. That made it worse for me of how I feel. When my daughter told me that, I became even more angrier than what I already was. Because she did not want to put on no handcuffs. He did not have no right to put handcuffs on my child. When she said no, that meant no. And he should have respected that. Not tell her if she don't put them on, you're going to send her to the principal's office. So my daughter allowed for him to put those handcuffs on her because she didn't want to go to the principal's office. She didn't want to go to the counselor office. Just like when he made her pick those seeds out. He told her if she don't finish picking those seeds out that cotton, she won't get a good grade. So I asked my daughter, Janasia, where's the rest of the seeds in this cotton? She said, he made me pick them all out, Mom. I had to pick it all out because I wouldn't have got a good grade. So my daughter proceeded to taking out all those seeds out that cotton just to get a good grade. How dare you? How dare you? That is absolutely wrong. For one, You don't bring cotton and make our children pick out seeds out of the cotton. And then you allow for the Caucasian kids to get on their Chromebooks and you allow for them to actually throw out their cotton. But you would not allow those Black kids, including my daughter, including Jameer, throw their cotton out. They couldn't get on the Chromebook like the Caucasians. They literally had to sit there. They were forced to sit there and pick out those seeds out that cotton. Just like our ancestors was back in slavery. They were forced to go out there in that cotton field. They were forced to pick that cotton. And if they said no, they would have a consequence. They would get beaten with a whip. They would get some type of punishment. Some type of punishment. And that's exactly what he did to my daughter, Jameer, and any other student that is in his classroom that he forced to pick that out. If they said no, because they did say no, he told them they won't get a good grade. That's a punishment. You threatened them. You threatened them.
And Miss Strauss, I'm sure that we're gonna have an opportunity to elaborate on that point, because I see some people saying in the chat, Anastasia says this is unacceptable. Tell it. Someone else, iPhone user, says I'm ashamed of this world that we're living in. T said he broke the law. He took rights away. And so I know that this forum is a good thing because they can hear it straight from y'all mouth,
Absolutely.
And, we didn't want the kids here because they got a school tomorrow,
Absolutely.
So Lydia Fluid Rodriguez says absolutely appalling. You're absolutely right. So I want to open it up for questions, because I know the questions will allow us to get into further detail. So if you could just raise your hand. On those of you who are present, I know a couple people had their hand raised from the beginning. If you're still in, so McFall, if you could unmute yourself, please.
Yes, I really don't understand how he is not arrested. That makes no sense to me. Why weren't charges pressed against him? I'm pretty sure there's a lot of charges that can be pressed against him. Something should have been done immediately other than a suspension.
Absolutely.
Yes. Well, it wasn't known. It wasn't known until after the cotton incident, because our
Absolutely.
children didn't tell us about it. And quite honestly, we have been bombarded with the media
Every day.
every day,
all day.
You request, and
We weren't
just
aware of the handcuffs and shackle situation until after the cotton. We weren't aware of the handcuffs and handcuff situation and shackles until Wednesday.
And we have to remember the way that Patrick Rausch finessed this, right? He finessed students into thinking it was a game or it was a trick. This is the same thing that predators do. This is the same thing that predators do. They get off you a lollipop and with some demented intentions behind it. So he brought in handcuffs, knowing that the majority of the students would think, oh, this is cool. My teacher got handcuffs, when in all actuality, he's doing so much trauma to them.
Yeah, it can't be too late.
Miss McFall, did you have anything else?
Yeah, I was just saying it can't be too late to still press charges.
I agree with you.
I agree.
I agree with you 100%.
Definitely we'll get to that. That's not an option. But I wanted to add something that I forgot, and that you did bring up, Mike.
There's a couple of things.
My son is developmentally delayed, so that was one of the reasons why he didn't really share anything aside of the cotton, because he didn't really understand that it was something wrong with it. It wasn't until I broke it down to him and explained to him why having handcuffs placed on a 13-year-old child who is autistic is absolutely wrong.
Yes, it is.
And yes, and he did call my son retarded.
Yes, he did.
My son did tell him that he's not retarded, I'm autistic, and he says, well, you're acting retarded. That just shows the level
it shows a lot. Yes.
Disregard.
Because Jameer said that he asked him, why are you acting retarded? And Jameer said, dude, I'm autistic. And then Patrick Rausch said, well, I can see that. How dare you? How dare you say that to that baby? a child.
Absolutely.
How that is
Absolutely.
totally disrespectful and it's wrong.
It is. It
Every
is.
bit of it.
Miss Precious, we got a question from Cherie, Sister Girl 315.
Okay.
Can you unmute yourself?
Yes, thank you so much. You know what? This is my first time hearing about this particular incident. So y'all keep talking about it. Tell everybody. Let
Yes,
them get mad about it because it's the truth. Because you know what?
absolutely.
I'm not surprised about any of this as a parent because this has been going on for years. But now
Yes,
as parents, we have to listen to our children
we
when they
have
bring
to.
something to our attention. It's not about just dropping them off, getting them off your hands
No.
because it's not okay. Not for nothing. I'm almost 40 years old. I've never picked no cotton. You can survive without picking cotton. Who is you talking to? You know, that's how,
Exactly.
you know, it's so, I'm so offended because right now it's time for us to liberate ourselves. Like Martin Luther King said, we free, but it's time for us to free our mind and let us in our minds know that we're free. Because for this to go on in 2022 and this to be
Yeah,
the lesson of
he
social
actually
studies,
put the instructions on the board for them to know how to pick the cotton.
for what? What purpose would that serve in their
He
life?
put, my daughter said, and he had the instructions on the board on how to pick cotton seeds out of the cotton.
And
Wow.
the sad thing is that wasn't even the lesson. He was
It
so
wasn't.
he
They
was
said he was
so
talking about something with
obsessed.
about the British.
Yes, he was so obsessed with slavery and African Americans that
Yes,
Wow.
he spoke. He
the
spoke about it
lesson-
all year round, all year long. He spoke about slavery.
Yes,
Wow.
the
And this is
lesson
my
that
thing.
day was on the
If you're
French
thinking
American
about slavery,
how he connected the cotton to that lesson. I'm not sure
there you
how
go.
he thought
That's
that
right.
was part of
Because
it.
our kids both said that he was speaking. He was the lesson. The unit was on the British.
Mm.
They were on the British. So how you switch from the British and you come back and talk about slavery, and then while you got our kids picking seeds out of this cotton, our kids started singing "Way in the Water."
Wow.
And when they started singing "Way in the Water," Patrick Rausch had the nerve to tell our children, "Stop singing that slavery song in my classroom."
Whoa.
Yeah.
So
So
my
yeah,
thing is, how can you tell them not to sing "Way in the Water," but you bring cotton for them to pick seeds, and you're teaching about slavery, but
right.
you got to learn to tell them don't sing that?
And I think that the children are very intuitive. I know so as an educator that they kind of, tapped into the inappropriateness of this. And they kind of like,
Yes.
as children do, tried to send a subtle message, wade in the water,
And absolutely, that's what my
that
daughter
this
actually said,
has
Mike.
slavery connotations. And,
That's what my
an
daughter
experienced
said.
educator would have picked that up. So we're going to go to, I think Michaela Adams had her hand up first, and then we'll go to Felicia Monroe. Michaela Adams, can you unmute, please?
Your chair.
Yes, hi, how y'all doing? So,
Hello.
did y'all know, like, before his previous job, he did similar stuff like this? They were talking about it in the shares on Facebook. Students that graduated from the school, it's all in the Facebook shares that he done this before. They just moved him
Yes.
to a different school.
Yes. And you know what? You're not lying. I have so many parents that comment on all my posts since last Tuesday. I have so many parents in my inbox that let me know everything you just said. They said, just like Ms. Ramos said earlier, this mother inboxed me and said how her daughter would be 22 years old this summer. And she said he went to 58 school and he did the same thing over there at 58 school. I also was told that he got fired from 3 different schools for being racist.
Yep,
So
I
my
heard
thing
one
is,
of
he's
them was
been
East
doing
High
this.
School.
Yeah. And he's been doing this for a very long time. He does this in every school that he works in every grade that he teach. And my thing is, with this being said, he's not suitable to teach no children. I don't want him to work in not one school in the whole United States of America. And I do mean that. I don't care what job he get, but teaching our students that way is not one of them.
And
He is
the
not
fact that
suitable
he's
to
been
be.
doing it so long, Miss Precious, you know, that's
Yes.
okay. So Michaela, you know, you said he's done this, you know, in other schools. We're absolutely right about that. I would just ask you, Michaela, why do we keep letting this happen? That's why we're here tonight. Okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna go on to
They-
Sorry.
we're gonna go on to Felicia Monroe had her hand up next, and then Jamila.
Hi, Mikey, it's Lola on Facebook. So, Mike, I just want to thank you
How you doing?
for doing this. And to the mothers, I truly apologize that this happened to your children. And I need us to understand, he's not teaching about slavery. He's teaching our children how to be slaves.
Yeah.
And this is unacceptable. We got to do something about it. So I am so sorry this happened to you guys. I'm beyond angry, but when I did some research, I also saw that this is his curriculum. He's just a racist. He's a flat out racist. And I am so sorry.
Well, Miss Monroe, you cannot invent, as a teacher, you can modify your lessons, but you cannot invent your own curriculum to teach.
There you go.
Unless you're at some type of experimental school or some charter school or some Montessori school, but we don't do that in the district. Okay, so that I just wanted to be clear on that. We got some questions in the comments. It says, what does the superintendent have to say? Dane says, what does the superintendent have to say? Well, we emailed the Board of Education and the superintendent collaboratively, and we heard back from a Dr. Smalls. Dr. Smalls said he would be contacting the chief of schools and reaching back out, and we haven't heard anything since Saturday. Okay, so we are still waiting to hear to see what the superintendent has to say. He is on paid leave. Someone asked, is he on paid leave? Yes, he is on paid leave. And someone says, what the union, something about the union. I'm sorry, I lost that comment, but if you could retype it. His license definitely needs to be taken away. How would our children ever be free, says Sister Girl. Y'all, we are free indeed. So let's send a strong message to our community tonight and moving forward. When we put out that petition, we want y'all to sign it. When we ask for your names, please, and when we ask for your names and your email addresses, please share that information so we can keep you in the loop. Without
absolutely.
Jamila is a great friend of mine. I'm glad to see you on the call tonight. Jamila, go ahead and unmute for us, please.
I just also wanted to mention that Miss Martin has her hand raised. I believe her hand was raised before me. So if
okay, that was a while ago. Yes, peaceful warriors. Jamila, are you yielding to peaceful warriors, and then we come back to you?
Yes, I am.
Okay, thank you.
Hello. Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yes. To both of the parents, you have a job ahead. You now have to sit down, talk to your children, find the material, find the books, and explain to them the total history. You're going to have to re-educate them. You're going to have to show them that they are Black, they are strong, and they are beautiful. Nothing about his education, his teachings will ever, and I'm angry because I'm gonna cry, will ever diminish who they are as kings and queens. I'm a product of urban suburban. My mother thought it would be the best thing for me. I lasted in that school 2 weeks. I came home with gum in my hair, cuts in my clothes, being called names. So yeah, I understand very well what your babies are going through. And I will let y'all know, it's not gonna get a whole lot better because I'll be 60 years old and they still feel like we're beneath them and we're all equal. I don't see color. I wasn't taught to see color. I'm of multiple races, so I can't dislike you because of what you look like. I will dislike you for how you treat me, but not what you look like. And that's what we have to keep our children, because there's always going to be a Mr. Roach somewhere. And I can bet you $10 right now, he's not the only one. He just got caught.
Yeah.
He got caught. Right. He's not the
You're
only.
absolutely right.
So signing petitions, walking the street. My mother and my
Yes.
aunt did fight organization. I don't have a problem doing it because,
Oh, thank you so much.
and I won't allow my kids, my grandkids will never be allowed to be hurt in that manner.
Miss Martin, I thank you because I feel your heart,
Yes.
your spirit, and
Absolutely.
we need more people like you to really actually care. You know, because I see
Yes.
people laughing about this, right? Making
Funny.
a mockery.
Yeah,
of it. And
a lot of people is really
disgusted.
laughing about it.
I was like,
And
what?
They're not taking it serious at all.
Oh,
Yeah,
y'all,
y'all crazy.
the reason
But
I went
anyway, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
district to
Because the ones that is laughing is the ones that don't see nothing wrong with it. But I'm going to keep on saying this.
you
If
have
you are out there and you don't see that there's nothing wrong with this whole situation that is being told,
Yep.
then something is clearly wrong with you.
Yes,
and
sir.
I will tell you this on behalf of my aunt who are no longer here, the district and Mr. Roche can both be brought up on charges because the district knew it and they hid it and they kept him there because they knew
It's been going on for years. They've been sweeping it under the rug.
exactly,
Yes.
exactly. And I can tell you the best way to go about it, you're gonna have to go backwards. You're gonna have to find old students.
Yeah.
And as far as back as if you can go back 20 years, the district is definitely going to be held liable.
Absolutely.
Because they fucked it up and they let him stay there teaching this. And you're showing our kids today to dislike each other because of who they are.
It broke my heart when Ramo's son said that it made him feel ashamed to be Black.
And you should never be ashamed of who you are and what you look like or what color
He
you
should
are.
never have felt,
No.
he should never been put in
No.
this situation to even feel that way.
No.
My son
mother
is biracial. I just wanted to add, my son is biracial. He doesn't look
Yes,
Black. He doesn't look Hispanic. He's a child.
He's just a
And
kid.
he one thing, I think he said something about that he wouldn't be in the field.
Yeah.
Wow.
And, you know, one thing that broke my heart is that my son already, because he doesn't look like, you know, either or, he deals with identity crisis. He doesn't know where he should be. He doesn't know if he should be Black, he should be, and I keep telling him that you are the best of both worlds. You are a combination of two strong cultures that have, you know, they have brought forth kings, and you are a king. So this man, for him to make him feel embarrassed and to hate his own race, he dismantled everything that I have ever done, because I have fought. My son is 13, and since he was a child, a baby, I have been fighting with him to have equal rights as a disabled child. My son has been in special education. My son received special regular education, and I made sure that the district provided the reasonable accommodations to meet his needs. So for me to sit here and do all of this advocating, all of this fighting, all of this grooming and everything for him to belittle him and to make him feel less than, I am beyond angry and hurt. I am beyond, it's beyond my capabilities of understanding how a person who has been entrusted in leading and training our children, how do you do this to these kids? That will be.
And I said the same thing. My daughter even
Hold on,
said
Miss Martin, we can come back to you. We can come back
when
to
she
you,
was
okay?
picking those seeds out of that cotton. My daughter even said that she felt when he told her that she had to sit down and finish picking those seeds out of that cotton. My daughter said she felt like a slave, and that broke my heart for her to tell me this. And this was yesterday. For my daughter to tell me, because every day since last Tuesday, when I come home from work, I ask my daughter, "How are you? Are you okay? How do you feel?" And every day is something new. Yesterday, my daughter told me, "Mommy, when he told me to sit down, that I couldn't throw my cotton away, that I had to finish picking the seeds out of my cotton, I felt like a slave." She said, I felt like a slave. And I had to sit my daughter at my dining room table last night. And I had to tell my baby, you are not a slave. You're far from one. Our ancestors were those. And I don't even like to say that because I wish that they weren't.
Right, and
But
then
her, you're
when we
not.
teaching, it's important that to emphasize that this is that aspect of our history is what they want to keep pushing down our throats, and we have so much rich history as being people of the African diaspora, both Black, African American, and Latino, being a part of that African diaspora. We have such a rich history. In slavery, we're not only slaves, okay? We're much more than
There
that.
you go.
And we do
Absolutely.
know, excuse me, guys, I just want to say for the chat clarification in the chat, I don't know if there was any ambiguity, but we do realize that the Rochester Teachers Association does not report to the Board of Education. I just wanted to clear that up there. I don't know what that was about, but in any case, Jamila Edwards was up next, and then I guess Peaceful Warriors keeps bouncing in and out. I don't know, and then Josh Mack will be after Jamila if Peaceful Warriors doesn't come right back in. Okay, Jamila, what do you got? Sorry to keep you on hold. You are next, Jamila.
No worries. I first want to say peace and love and light to everybody in the room, because this is a touchy subject.
It is.
And I want you to know that at the age of 37, I still deal with the repercussions of white people on a daily basis, okay? Treating our children is no different than how they treat us on our job, what we see in police brutality, just the world that we live in. So first things first, I want to touch on the Rochester City School District. I personally hold them fully responsible because this is what they allow.
Yeah.
And I want to tell you that I've been through so many issues that are surrounding children and issues of racism. And what happens is we kind of fall to the wayside. So I want you to know that I am here in full support of whatever initiative you choose to do. I just ask that you don't let it go.
That's right.
A lot of people get into this and they get so excited, and it's mainstream and it's news this week. But I just fought with a young lady who was expelled from Mercy High School because of issues surrounding racism. And it's sad because when I asked her, now that she met, we were able to get our demands. I asked her, I said, well, how do you feel? And she said, well, I still don't like white people. They leave a stain on our children, which makes it hard for them to live life because they don't understand. Pour into your children. Let them know that, yes, we are slaves, but today we are free. That is a symbol of overcoming, wellness. It is something that is a part of us, and we don't take it lightly. Being a slave is not a joke. It's not to be played with. There are people who died, jumped off of slave ships. Pour those things into your children so that they are proud of who they are and who we are today. Do not give up. Do not let this be a 2-week mission. Do not let it be a month mission, because it will happen again. As she said, he's only the one who got caught. They all, for the most part, feel the same way, whether they're bold enough to make them pick cotton and put them in handcuffs, or whether it's the slight gestures of, oh, you're not gonna make it. So just keep pushing, because it's not just about your babies, it's about our babies, all of them. Every single one. So if y'all want to burn it down, I'm here to burn it down with you. If y'all want to riot, I'm here to riot with you. If y'all want to pray, I'm here to pray with you. But most importantly, I'm here for the children. Okay.
That's right. That's right. We thank you so much.
Yeah, Jamila, just so you know, Precious and Velma, she's a friend of mine, and just hearing those powerful words just shook me to my core.
That's right. It's getting me chills through my body.
Somebody in the chat said the leadership that needs to be included is the Superintendent Meyer Small, School Board, and RTA Adam Urbanski. So we've emailed 2 out of the 3. We've emailed Superintendent Meyer Small, and we've also emailed members on the school board. I want to reiterate that they reached back out to us. We sent them the email on Thursday. They reached back out to us on Saturday, and we have not heard from them since Dr. Small, who is the assistant. I'm sorry, I'm blanking on his title, but Dr. Small in his he said the chief of school would be reaching out to the families. That has not happened as of yet, has it, ladies?
No.
I only talked to the chief police of School of the Arts
No,
Wednesday
talk to
early.
the vice principal.
Oh, the vice president? No.
Vice.
No.
Who did you
No.
talk to at School of the
Someone
Arts?
told me on Thursday, Mr. Peluso.
Okay.
He called and he just told me that there was going to be a formal investigation, and he asked that I create.
That's actually the chief police of School of the Arts.
There's
no.
I think you're just getting the wording wrong, because you're saying chief police.
Because that's what the vice president of Rochester City School District put in my inbox of who he is.
Okay, well, just send that to me and we can clarify that. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, Precious, we can clarify that. Okay. Peaceful Warriors, Josh Mack, I know you're waiting patiently. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. Let's get to Peaceful Warriors. He had his hand up way in the beginning. Okay, way in the beginning. He came in and out. We're gonna make it. Please make it brief. Let's share the space, guys.
Hello, is this audio okay?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your leadership, Mikey. And is it Precious and Velma?
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm sorry to hear about what's going on. I love that you're getting involved with the school system. The RCSD it just needs some reformation. I love seeing parents get involved. I'm very involved in the suburbs. In those board meetings, you know, there's 22 school districts in Monroe County. So thank you for your leadership and all that. I really think that's awesome. The kids feel uncomfortable. That's the bottom line. Like, they say that they're feeling uncomfortable. So we got to take that seriously. One thing I wanted to give some feedback on is that I thought maybe it would have been a good idea to go and speak with a teacher, maybe, and say, hey, what's the deal with the kids that are complaining? And then if he wasn't responsive, then go to the principal, you know, who is the principal? But, you know, May 17th, you can have an impact. You can actually vote in the May 17th Board of Education elections. So I hope, if nothing else, you know, regardless of how this all turns out, I hope that it ends up being a big win for Precious, for Velma, for everybody in getting involved in the RCSD system, becoming representatives, candidates, getting elected into the Board of Education, and doing what's necessary. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The Nicastro is the principal. Again, I had that information. I can pull it up and have it. I'm just juggling a lot, so my mind is very, very busy right now. But Nicastro, I believe, is the principal over there.
Yes.
I believe that's your question. Okay. And then Josh Mack, thank you for waiting patiently, and then we'll go to Nira. Okay, so Josh and then Nira.
Thank you for having me. And I just wanted to say to the parents and everyone, you know, I've been in the district for 28 plus years, and we have a number of tables that parents can be involved in. We've been advocating and activating. I'm on the real team now. I've been on there for 5-6 years. We've been addressing and trying to deal with racism and systemic racism as people want to form right now. That's a part of that effort. We need people to we shouldn't, it's unfortunate we have to have events like this to get us galvanized and working together. We need to make sure that we have people at the table. I like what the gentleman said from Peaceful Warriors, involved, engaged, and being a part of the decision-making process. So so we don't get caught blindsided. You know, I don't know exactly what this teacher was trying to do. It doesn't sound good. It sounds like he was trying to be courageous, or whatever the case may be. But if it's not good, then the parents need to be at the table. You need to be a part of this process. We can't drop our kids off at the door and think that everything is going to be okay. And so this, I hope that this is an eye-opener for everyone around here to say, you know what? I need to be engaged in everything that's going on with my child, not just K through 6 and 5, 7. K through 12, because our students need that partnership and that engagement with parents and the teachers, so you know what's going on. And I do want to know, did you have an opportunity to have a conversation with the teacher to find out exactly what was going on in his mindset. And so you can have,
No,
you
we
didn't have
didn't
that, was
get a
that not
chance to
provided?
talk to him at all. Actually, the same day, last Tuesday, when the cotton and seeds happened, he left that same day. My daughter has said after her class, he ended up leaving because he was leaving for the week. This was before
Spring break?
I got
February,
revealed the
April, recess?
cotton.
Okay.
No, it wasn't
So she
spring
said
break, it
after
was
her
winter.
class, he ended up leaving, and then a substitute had came in that very same day. But then that's when the next day, me and Ms. Ramos went up there. She went up there first, and I went up there, and he was already gone. They ended up saying that they took him out on administrative leave. So
And they
no, we
couldn't
didn't get a
deal
chance
with
to
the
talk to him.
district at that point.
Yes.
Oh, and Carmine Peluso is the chief of schools in charge that oversees School of the Arts. So
Yes.
just you can be correct on that. But yeah, we
Okay.
need people involved. Get involved. Thank you.
That's right.
Give me an opportunity. Appreciate
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming and just being so invested in our young people, because as you know, many of us are Black men are kind of not into that right now, but we're going to recruit more and more, and
Yeah.
and hoping and keep fighting for change. Nira, unmute yourself, please.
Okay, I'm sorry. Hi, everyone. My name is Nira, and yeah, go ahead, close the door. Thank you. So what I wanted to say was, when I first heard of the situation, because my daughter, she's in the class as well. It was like she had called me, and it was on Tuesday, and she hasn't experienced the teacher yet. So it was early in the day. So immediately when she told me that, I got busy because I felt like it already happened to her. I called the school. I got in touch with the vice principal. I left several messages before he got with me. It was like about 11 or 12 o'clock when he did call me back. I also wrote the school board. And so that might be one of the reasons why he was already gone, because I had put it out there. Like,
Okay.
if this is part of the curriculum, my daughter is not to be part of it whatsoever, because I don't know what this is about, and it's not setting well with me. So after that, I tried to get in touch with the young lady whose daughter experienced it, but I couldn't find your email or nothing, because like I said, I really felt like it happened to my daughter. So what I'm saying is, the gentleman who just got on, we have to collectively be more involved in the city school district board. We have to start like when we were younger. Our parents would knock down the doors, not asking if we can come. We're here now, let's get busy. So we have to really, really understand that, like another lady had said, this person got caught. There's more out there. We know it, and they know it. A lot of stuff get pushed under the table, get pushed to the side, and then if we don't stay on top of it, oh, it's okay now, they're quiet. We can't stay quiet, because guess what? If we don't protect our children, who will?
That's right.
And we have to do it with numbers.
That's right. And one of the reasons we do that is by organizing, okay? And part of the reason for this call, we organized this call tonight so that we can have some next steps. So I want to remind everyone under the sound of my voice that you need to go to saverochester.org and leave your contact information. I'm going to type again the address, the web address in the chat. Okay, we can also get the people who have already reached out to Mrs. Strauss, to people who have already reached out to Miss Ramos. Okay, we need to get all of your names. Oops, I've spelled Rochester wrong. I'm sorry about that, y'all. I'm doing a lot here, and there's people still coming into the weight room. So if you go to saverochester.org, fill out a contact form. Okay, let us know why you're reaching out, because we get a lot of different emails, and then we will compile that list so that we all have access to you guys, so that we can keep you informed about the next steps. Okay.
Yes.
Cherie, sister girl, 315 was next.
Yes, I just had a question that just popped up because this is sounding something like what a lot of the suburban schools have a problem with, which is CRT. So if CRT is not acceptable in suburban schools, why is it even being brought up in inner city schools?
So
Can I hop in and define what that is?
No, I'm not asking what CRT is. I'm just saying the concept of it.
Right,
It's racism is being taught to Black kids.
Mm-hmm.
So why is that? So I'm not saying this is not about CRT. This is about the ideology of what it is. It's not allowed in other schools because I grew up in the country, and I know it's not okay. So it's not for nothing. I not even about the suburbs. I'm talking about the country. Even in the country where farming was, I could utilize farming. I was never taught how to pick no cotton or seeds out of cotton.
Right.
So I'm just letting you know, why is it okay? Or why don't we have that same energy
I think that's
that they have in the suburbs?
I think that's a good rhetorical question, like to examine, why are those things allowed? Like, and I think it goes back to Dr. King said, like, there's two Americas, right? Marcus Williams.
Sorry about that. I had a brief issue with my audio. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Oh, okay, fantastic. Yes. So through the conversation about the CRT issue and what's going on with the cotton picking situation, it's all related. This is all this concept that when I was little going to school and stuff like that, all the elders and stuff said that we want better representation in history. We want better representation in history. This CRT stuff, which is coming down, and looks exactly like what's being taught now with the cotton picking situation, is not actually teaching the representation that we need. So it's very integral that, like Mikey's saying, people do get in touch with their teachers and go over these curriculum. They also have advanced sex ed that they're trying to push on elementary school kids, K through 3rd grade right now, teaching them about puberty blockers and about changing their gender and stuff. There's a bill in the Assembly and in the Senate for New York State right now for that. So I really encourage all of the parents to get on top of what's going on in the curriculum, because we can't allow this stuff to go on.
Yeah, Marcus, totally agree with you, and I think that most people here would agree with you. But I'm asking us to bring it in to those concrete, ideas that we were talking about in this particular case, so that and then maybe if we're successful with removing Mr. Rausch from his position, then we can start to look at more of those macro issues that you are bringing up. But they do trickle down very much so into. So Serena Martin, do you have a hand? Is that a hand? Okay.
Mute. Hello. Can anybody hear me? Okay. So basically my last thought, how to I guess my thing is, because I talked to my kids had books to read and look at, and they were shown our history. It wasn't because they've been trying to take it and move it out of school. But then you have this Mr. Rausch who wants to reintroduce it, but he's reintroducing it in the wrong way.
Yes.
My thing is, as a woman of color, we have to sit down. My parents educated us. They talked to us. My grandparents, my great-grandparents, everybody talked to us and explained to us who we were before we became what we are. And this is something that we're going to have to talk to our children about, because it's gonna continue to happen. The workplace, college, no matter where they go, when they visit on vacation, you're going to experience some kind of racism. It's sad. It's unbelievable. Even in the news today, with the people of Ukraine, they won't help the people of color. So we, as our own teachers, kings and queens, with this incident being put into play, we now have to counter that play.
Right.
They've taken a lot of the books that I read as a kid, books that I learned from as a kid. I asked questions as a kid because I needed to know. I wanted to know. I thirst to know why am I being disliked because of what I look like? Well, my grandmother was pale, pink and pale, but I'm chocolate. Like, those questions are there. Even in today's society, people look at the kids, oh, your children are mixed. No, they're not. They pull from way back down yonder. So here it comes in what they look like. But at the end of the day, we're all just people. Our colors shouldn't matter, but to him, it does. He systematically wanted to destroy some kids, and he's been able to do that educationally for quite a long time.
For a long time.
Sitting here finding out what schools he's been in, you don't know how many kids dropped the ball because of what he was doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that we really, everyone knows this is wrong. This is egregious. This should not have happened. But again, I have to reiterate, if we do not come together to have these types of support systems for the families, we need to, if the school district is not going to email us, we need to put them on notice, right? And say it's been a X amount of days, it's been a week, let's say, and we haven't heard back from you. What's going on? If you don't respond to us, we're going to have to take further action of getting petitions signed. And we want everyone to sign a petition. We want people to be picketing. That's what we want if that man is not removed. So let's be clear. I want to review really quickly. Hold on. I'm going to get to Peaceful Warriors who has his hand up. I'm going to get to you 1 second. Somebody's not muted. Okay, I want to share something with you in case you came to the meeting late, and we're going to be wrapping it up here very soon. So if you have your questions, get them on out. The six facts we must focus on and remember, and this will be posted to the website. Mr. Rausch has had a history of teaching lessons perceived to be offensive to a student. So he already had this history. You can't say he didn't know. Handcuffs are dangerous. No child should ever be handcuffed in school. No other teacher in the district do I know of is bringing handcuffs to school as a part of the curriculum. It doesn't happen. Picking seeds from cotton is not a part of that curriculum that he should be teaching for social studies. But no matter how difficult Mr. Rausch thinks it is in his mind, students should be allowed to opt out of potentially offensive lessons, not be coerced, forced into taking these lessons. Mr. Rausch is unfit. He's unfit to teach. He's saying, I'm Massah. Yeah, I'm Massah, joking with the kids. This is not a joke. He's telling students to stop acting like a retard. No, that's offensive. And it's inappropriate. And you need to lose your job. You're unfit. Mr. Rausch's lessons have absolutely nothing to do with CRT. I got to reiterate this one more time, y'all. Okay. We have to collect names, phone numbers tonight. So go to saverochester.org tonight. We need more referrals for legal counsel, and we need everyone to share and sign the petition to have him removed once that.
Yes, everyone, please, we really appreciate it.
Please. Okay, Mr. Peaceful Warriors, Kevin, Kevin, we're gonna go to you, Kevin, and then we're gonna wrap it up with final thoughts and final questions, because I know it's getting late here and people gotta work tomorrow morning.
Thank you for this inspiring meeting. This seems to be a very good opportunity to reinforce with the kids, maybe to make sure to speak up if they feel uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
Thank you, everybody.
That's right. Thank you so much. It's definitely a hard.
That was powerful. Yes.
Yeah. All right.
And thank you for that. Tell the kids, make sure you're teaching your kids, to share things with you about their day. How many
Yes,
parents are asking, how was your day in school? You know,
I was just about to say that,
make that a
Mikey.
regular question. I'm sorry, Miss Tross, I'm gonna give you the floor, and then Miss Ramos, so we can wrap it up, so everybody can get some sleep tonight.
Oh, no, I was just agreeing with you. Like, that's absolutely correct. We as parents, we have to be more engaged in our kids' activities in school, like what he just said, because every day when I get off of work, my daughter is already home. And when I come in, I always ask her, how was your day today? What did you do in school today? How was class? What did you do in class? I always ask her that. So it's very, very important that we as parents ask our children about their day in school. Like Mikey said earlier, it's not about just dropping them off to school or picking them up from school, you know, it's more to that. Learn about their day. Know your child. Like for instance, like I said, when my daughter got in that car, her eyebrows was like this. She was upset. So before I could even ask her what's wrong, she just blurted it all out. I didn't even have to ask her. But always know what's going on with your kids at all times. It's very, very important. And I want everyone to know, I don't care how long this takes. I will not let up. I'm going to stand on my 10 toes, right along with Miss Ramos, and we're going to fight this fight. And all we need is everyone who wants to support, please support. Like Mikey said, leave your name, leave your email tonight, so that we can have all of it. Because the more of us that's standing up there to fight this strong battle that we're actually fighting at this moment, the better. And we want to thank everyone for all their support and everyone who took these stories into consideration, because it's not a light story. It's a very, very heavy situation for me and Miss Ramos and our children and the other parents and their kids. We have to protect them from people like this. We can't let this keep going on. And thank you once again for hearing our voice for our kids.
Thank you, Miss Strauss. Miss Ramos.
Yeah, definitely want to thank everyone that joined us tonight. We would hope that you would take this message back to your Facebook pages, to any of your social groups, any social media platforms that you're able to do so, because we have to sound the alarm. We have to inform the parents that either have had Mr. Rausch in the past or have him currently, for them to come forward. We have some that have approached us, but we know that there are hundreds more.
Oh, yeah.
And we want everyone to come out. And whether you had him or not, just come out and support, because, you know, we're here to speak for our children. I am my son's voice. My son is, like I said, he's developmentally delayed. He did exceptionally well in in a couple interviews, but I had to make the tough decision to let him sit out the rest, because I don't want to continue to re-traumatize him by having to rehash the events that, you know, have already taken place. So I will take over from here. And no, I am not stopping. Anyone that knows me knows that I have always been a warrior for not just him, but for all 4 of my children. I'm always at the schools. I'm always meeting the teachers. I'm always, you know, asking questions and things like that. And I'm definitely not giving up by any means. You know, they just fire up under me. That's just going to make me go stronger, because once I am a strong mother bear, and once you hurt my child, the gloves are off.
That's right, Miss Ramos.
I'm on it.
Okay, again, thank you, each and every one of you community members out there who have taken your time to spend this evening with us, to really deep dive into what these parents are feeling, to what their children are feeling. Thank you for being here with us and standing in solidarity in such a serious and traumatic time for our city. Our city is hurting. We just went through Daniel Prude and stood together. And this feels like a giant leap back, but I know that if we come together, we can overcome any obstacle that comes our way. We can bridge the gap between communities because everybody knows that we all bleed red.
That's
we
right.
all bleed red. And
Everybody.
it was the blood of our ancestors that
Mhm.
stained that cotton that he wanted students to pick from. So we have to remember how serious this is. And I just have to say again, SaveRochester.org, leave your contact information for us. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Miss Precious. Thank you, Miss Welma. Thank you guys for being here. And I gotta say this before we go. I'm sorry. There was someone, a parent, that shared with me that, you know, some church folks weren't being as supportive. And, you know, I grew up in the church, you know, I was singing lead in the choir. And if had this happened to me, I would want my church members to stand up.
That's right.
That's all I'm gonna say about that. I'm not even preaching secularism, none of that. Okay.
No, you're fine.
God is the head of my life, but I'm trying to tell y'all, we need the community support, and that a large part of that is Black church. Okay.
Yes,
Without further ado, thank you guys for spending this evening with Save Rochester, and we have to tell you that hate has no home in the city of Rochester. Y'all have a good night.
That's right. Thank you. Have a good one.
Thank you.